Welcome to this special bonus episode of Across the Bifrost. I'm your exhausted host, Dr. Norbert.
Nice.
And with me is my exhausted co-host,
Jamie.
Who?
Hello.
Yay,
Hello.
Jamie.
Yeah, hot off the presses, hot off the plane. We were like, we can't not be the world's fastest podcast to react to WTC. So Danger Room already did the reaction, but that was just to the results. This is the first podcast to actually talk about WTC, and we were there. So take that, Danger Room.
Which one are you talking about? Did they actually review the WTC?
Yeah. They looked at the old.
Oh, I see. They did a recap. Okay,
Yeah.
right on. Wow, fast. All right. I'll give them some creds for that.
Fair enough. But we were there. We're still tired from the flights.
Yeah. But boy, was that trip home so easy. All right, let's get into it then. So everybody, as Jamie's intimated, me and him were at the event along with a slew of English players. We literally filled up a stage in a beautiful group shot that we took of everybody that came, amongst many other teams. I think there were 5 English teams, but there were 32 teams altogether from all around the world, including 2 from the United States, 2 from Canada. It was a riot. Such a great time.
Definitely. We also infected the New York team as well because Carl was on that. So there was an English person there too. There was English. Charlie was on the Italian team. So yeah, not only did we have 5 teams of our own, we were also spreading across all the other teams as well.
It was crazy. So we're going to talk to you a little bit about the our travels there, kind of the social aspect of the event, what it's all about. We're going to talk to you about how our games went, because apparently we got good reaction about that last time. So we're going to throw that in now. We'll talk a little bit about the winners, of course. We'll talk about the team format. We're going to be talking about judging. Judging was a big thing at the event this year. And then, of course, we're going to go through the stats plus our thoughts having lived through it all. And you'll also learn where you can sign up. Not sign up, but where it's going to be next year, basically. It's going to be that. That's what we're doing. Anything to add to that?
Nope. That sounds like a good list.
Thank you. Yes. So travel. Let's start. So, okay. So what is the WTC? For people who are just tuning in, it is the World Team Championship. This was the 3rd year that it had been running. And basically what it is teams from all around, from different countries. You basically try to form a team of people from the same country, either living together in that country or having kind of the passport to that country. We are still a newer game system, so we are allowing some what we call mercenaries onto those teams. So 1 or 2 mercenaries can kind of be added onto the team to try to fill it out if you can't find enough 5 for yourself. But honestly, many countries sent more than 1 team as it was. So I think this is an event that a lot of countries, even if they have small metas, kind of plan for, like the one big event that they go to. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. Especially for the Europeans, right? Because it's quite easy for them to get there. So we have our kind of big events in England, but it's slightly harder to get there. You can't drive. You can't drive over and bring a bunch of terrain and stuff. So yeah, this is definitely like a European-centric event. But then we also had Americans and Canadians, right, coming over, which is pretty cool. Yep. At one point, one of my teammates thought the Australians had come and then realized it said Austria. But close enough. So yeah, but a lot of people plan for this, from January.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly. It's like the one big event. In fact, this was, for instance, Portugal's first year here, and they have a very small meta, they said, but it's a good, strong meta, just small. But this is the event they plan for to come to, because they can't really afford to go to other events. And so that's the kind of impact this kind of event has, which is wonderful. It's just a great thing. Mm-hmm. And because of that, we have 32 teams of 5. That means we have 160 players there. And that means there's a lot of stats. So there's a lot of data about what the state of the meta is. There's, of course, the restrictions where you can you can't repeat characters across the 5 teams. So there is a little bit of horse trading that goes on and does make an impact. But the crises and the tactics cards were unrestricted. So it does give you a lot of good information about where the meta is right now. And I think it's in an interesting time of year too, Jamie, because the new models have kind of been spoiled, but aren't in anybody's hands, so they weren't allowed. Also, the errata that we typically get around this time of year hasn't released yet, so it feels like kind of like the summary note of what the meta was up until like a whole host of changes are coming through. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, obviously, the caveat with all of the data that's collected from this event, hundreds of games happened, but it's all in a team format, right? I was actually talking to Sam, who runs Longshanks, earlier, and was asking for some tweaks to how kind of win rates are calculated and stuff. And he made a joke that the good thing about team events is they give you an insane amount of useless data. Because it's not technically isn't the meta, right? Because characters can't be shared, but I think it's pretty close, right? It's the restrictions. The game's so big now; the restrictions are pretty light. I think I remember a couple of years ago, it was a lot of fighting over who gets what character. But there's so many great teams now in the game, and it's just getting better and better. And there are people planning for their WTC next year, and they're like, "I'm going to play A Force," and it's just you just can now because there's so many models, and I think it's great. So caveat with the data that it is a team format. But a very unrestricted team format, the most unrestricted team format, right?
Yeah. And I think that you made a really good point about that. Because the game has gotten so large, those restrictions are kind of minor. I mean, and it's only the characters. So I appreciate where Red Sam, Longshanks developer, is coming from, and it is a common refrain that you have to say about these team event type things. But in this case, I think it's a very light touch compared to some other types of team events, which have more restricted rules. Okay, cool. So where do you want to get into it? Do you want to talk a little bit about your travel over and the vibes on Friday?
I mean, obviously, I was quite excited to hang out with like a huge amount of English people that were going, and then everyone else was sort of excited to meet up with people, talk to podcasters that they like, and you know everyone seemingly. You're like an MCP celebrity, so I was like, I'm looking forward to hanging out with Norbert. Didn't see you once for the whole weekend. You were too busy off colluding with every other player that was there. There was one point where I came up to you late on the Saturday night, and you'd had a few too many orange squashes. And I was like, I'm going to go say hi to Norbert. But I couldn't catch you because you were speed walking around the place doing like a victory lap to say goodnight.
Oh, I was.
And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to leave him to it. So I went. But,
I'm sorry I missed you.
But yeah, no, it's good. We showed up. We played some Marvel Champions because, I'm not one of those people anymore that can go and play, 30 games of MCP. But some people did. There was lots of MCP happening on the Friday night. There were teams versus teams on the Friday night, which was fun.
Yep.
So yeah, lots of it's just a big old bunch of games really, just in a room. It's great.
I think you brought up a good point. Thanks for reminding me about this. Compared to years, so we got there mid-afternoon, and the whole point for me was I wanted to get there and learn my lesson from last year, in that I wasn't going to bother to try to get a game in. I just wanted to talk to people and say hello to folks and meet the new folks, and that's what I planned to do. So I always buy a big bottle of whiskey at the duty free, and I find a whole bunch of glasses, and I just walk around and I share my whiskey out and welcome everybody to the event and say hello. So that's what I did, and I couldn't have been happier doing that. I did that for 5 hours, and it was so fun. But like you mentioned, there was tons of gaming going on. It almost felt like it was a pre-con because there was multiple rows of people seriously playing their games, for fun, but into it, not just scooping around like me, which was different, I think, than prior years, and pretty cool.
Definitely. No, it was great. And I enjoyed seeing you run around being a social butterfly. But obviously, if anyone is a bit nervous, doesn't like hanging out in crowds like me, then there's plenty of corners to go sit in and play other games, like quiet games. And the venue for this was massive. I assume next year will be the same. So yeah, it's a really good place to go. There was one point, Norbert, I don't know if you remember, but you excitedly introduced me to someone because they listened to the podcast. Right. You said, "Oh, hey, I want you to meet this guy." Called me over, and you said, "So this is," and then you got distracted because someone else come to say hello to you, and then you walked off. And
did I?
And I was going like, I think he was trying to say that I'm the guy that he does the podcast with. Hi, it was really awkward. So so then I went to sit in a corner and just played Marvel Champions and didn't talk to anyone else.
That's amazing.
I'm enjoying being your partner on this podcast because you get to do all the meet and greets and all the signings, and I get to skulk off and no one cares. It's great.
Curtis from the Second Breakfast Club, he was the captain. He actually said that, saying, how does it feel? We're having, all these people, you know you and come by you. And, I told him in all sincerity, I don't even, and I hope this doesn't come up as egotistical. I don't see it as that way. I just see it as like fun people that I want to say hello to. And I don't know how to express it, but it's just something that's really natural for me because of how much I love the community and how important this hobby is to me and my mental health and just, staying young. And so I'm just in the moment. That's what it is. I'm just in the moment. I don't even realize what's going on around me, honestly, like what just happened, what you just related. And Curtis said people coming up and they had huge smiles on their faces when they saw me come into the room and came over to say hello to me. I had no recollection of any of that just because, like I said, I was just happy with being mindful about what I was doing right then and there with whoever I was with.
Well, that's the thing is like without the podcast and your Twitch streams and all that stuff, like you'd be going to these events and saying hello to people anyway. It just provides a shortcut. They're coming up to you instead. Yes. So it's just, it's what you're there for. So yeah, people that are there, and there's loads of that, right? There's loads of old friends meeting up at these events and being like, oh, hey, I haven't seen you in years. And it's great, and it's nice to see from afar in my dark corner on my own.
Oh, I want to mention Curtis though, because his Second Breakfast Club. So he has a Second Breakfast Club, which is named after because most of the players, they actually knew each other from Middle Earth, playing Middle Earth Wargame. And instead now start playing Marvel Crisis Protocol, but they kind of modeled their ethos and their kind of theme. And so they had shortbread biscuits wrapped up in banana leaf that they were giving out as gifts. Yeah, it was so good. And they had shirts. They had these beautiful shirts, each with Lord of the Rings quotes that match the kind of personality.
Designed by our producer, by the way.
That's right.
Getting around the MCP scene.
And out of nowhere, they invited me over. They said, "We want you to be the MC and conferring the team jerseys to each of the team members to formally induct the Second Breakfast Club."
That's cool.
Yeah, isn't that cool? So yeah, they each had little nicknames on their thing. So they videotaped it of me kind of conferring it all, each one. And so I was deep in my cups at that point. So I was saying all kinds of fun stuff about each of them as I was conveying, why they earned that particular jersey and how they're going to fight that day or the next days. And you know what? So they had 2 shirts each for each of themselves. And the last one, there was an odd one. So I got confused and I'm looking at it. It was one they made for me.
Hey.
Yeah. As an honorary Second Breakfast Club member from the UK Nations episode.
Yeah, that was great. Event. It was sweet until you turn around and I realized that they were referring to you as Gollum on the shirt.
Yes.
But apart from that, it's very charming.
I still don't know how to take that. But so yes, and you may be wondering why they each had 2 jerseys, Jamie. Why do you think that is?
Because there's a whole economy of gamer jerseys going on.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a second one to give away this time?
No, I never do because I always find that they're too expensive, so I never buy one.
They are expensive. I know.
Yeah, but then I do try and find if I have a favorite opponent, then I will swap with them. And so I look out for that. And then this year I was like, okay, this is my favorite opponent. This guy's great. It was Lois from one of the Belgian teams. I think. Yes, pretty sure. And I was like, I'm going to swap shirts with him. And then looked down and he was wearing Archie's shirt from Second Breakfast Club already. So everyone had swapped already. So you can't even... I was like, well, I'm not going to try and get Archie's shirt. So, but that's the whole thing. That is a big thing. And I remember when I went to my first event and it was actually Maria who was on our team and she said, we should get jerseys. And I was like, no, that's nerdy and lame. I'm not doing that. And she said, if you don't do it, you'll be the only one there that doesn't have one. And I was like, okay, fine. So we all got jerseys made and went to our first WTC. And it was amazing because literally everyone had them. And it was really cool. So yeah, highly recommend that. That's all part of it. Add it to your ticket price. Add an extra 40 quid to your ticket price because you want to get a jersey. And if you're feeling fancy, buy 2 like Second Breakfast Club did, then you can trade jerseys with someone.
Or if you're not precious about yours, just trade yours one away. I mean, the point of the 2 is most people like to keep one for themselves. But so you could just easily just trade jerseys.
Yeah.
Did you get any jerseys?
I did not. No. Well, I wouldn't trade, would I? I was refusing. But some of our team did. Some of our team swapped around, and I thought that was cool.
Okay, cool. What time did you retire on Friday?
That's probably like midnight, I think.
Okay, so not too bad.
I'm usually because this year I'm on my fun year, right? So the year before this, I was trying really hard to win some stuff. So we would go to bed at like 10 p.m., like get an early night. This year, I'm on my stupid let's collect all the mutant badges adventure, and my team was a bit more fun and not there to win. So I had a bit more of a late night. But then on the Saturday night, we went into Copenhagen, right? We went into town and like kind of bar hopped a little bit, and that was a bit more messy. And what about you?
I held it together. I learned my lesson from last year. That was a mistake. At least Saturday night was a mistake, and Friday too. So I definitely had a fair amount of whiskey on Friday and Saturday, but held it together, nothing overboard, and went to bed about 11 o'clock each night, maybe closer to midnight Saturday, because Saturday I had such a good time. The vibes were really hot. After everybody was playing games and I met newer people that I hadn't met before, Saturday I definitely did not want to go to bed. I was only Darren in the back of my head from last year reminding me, it's time for you to go. That I had the self-control and didn't stay longer, but I really, really wanted to. And not just for the drinking. It was just the vibes. Oh my God. There's so many clusters of cool people to talk to.
That's the thing I noticed about Saturday night as well is there's a lot of MCP going on. So if you just want to play some games, you can do that. But there's also people just sat in circles. Just like a huge circles, like 10 people in a circle, just talking probably mostly about MCP. But and it's great. It's just a big social. So there we go.
Hotel was good. Real quick, just the hotel was the same hotel we've been in for the last 3 years. So it was very familiar, which meant typical Scandinavian hotel rooms, very clean, very efficient, very comfortable. But the big news this year, and it's a package deal, right? You pay one price to play the games, to sleep the 2 nights, and to get meals. Friday night dinner through Sunday lunch is all provided for. All 3 meals amongst those days is provided. But this year, Gil, the organizer, hats off to Gil for doing it for 3 years in a row. Thank you, Gil.
This is his final one, right? That was his last one being fully in charge?
Indeed, correct. So which is well-earned rest.
Well-earned rest. And he said he's going to come next time as a player, which made me very happy.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, that's good. He arranged a different meal plan with the more posh hotel next door to the one we are, which was still connected by this not a tunnel, but like an enclosed passageway.
Oh, it was great. It was perfect for nerds. We didn't have to go outside at all.
Nothing.
The airport was connected to a hotel, which was connected to our hotel. So literally, you could just not a single cell of fresh air entered my nose the whole time. It was great.
Yeah, but the food this year was banging.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I had the best meatballs I've ever had in my life.
Yes, the meatballs were killer.
So good.
We had duck confit one night. What?
Yeah.
It was crazy. Every meal was better than the next from night after night. And he arranged to get much cheaper beers. The beers now were, instead of typical Scandinavian prices, were more reasonable London prices. So still expensive, but not like, oh my God.
I was going to say, some people will laugh at that. It went from Scandinavian prices to London prices. So still extremely unaffordable.
It just explains how bad the Scandinavian prices are.
Yeah. But it was better. Much better.
Much better. Yeah. And they didn't mind us drinking our own whiskey too. So it wasn't like a matter of hiding it in cups and stuff, which was nice. It's always annoying.
Yeah, great. Cool.
Right, cool. So, all right, that's all the logistics. It all went well. We also got home really easily. So we'll leave that aside. It was fantastic arrangement this time again. So Gil outdid himself. But let's talk about our teams and the events. So which team did you go with, and what's the evolution of your team?
So I went with Weapon Flex, which was the first team that I've captained ever. So I was quite happy with that. And I was trying to channel my previous captain, Ollie's skills in the pairing process. So that was my goal for the weekend, but we'll get to that. So yeah, my team was me, Tom, Finley, Mike, and Matt. I just realized I'm laughing because I didn't realize how boringly English all of our names were. doesn't get any more generic than that. So yes, that was Weapon Flex. The joke was because half our team are either personal trainers or gym guys, and I was lifting at the time of the team being made, and then quickly stopped. So now I look weird that I'm on a team with muscly shirts. But no, it was very fun, and we were there to kind of we're a fun team, bunch of friends, and just wanted to see how it went. But then we accidentally came second at Nations, so there was a little bit of pressure on us to perform okay, and I'm pretty happy with how it went.
Cool. So was this the same team that, who was consistent from last year?
So don't worry about last year. It's a completely different team from last year, but it's from Nations. So from Nations, which was in the summer, it's basically exactly the same, except our convocation player, Charlie, decided that he couldn't make it and dropped. So we had to get someone to fill in. So we had Matt fill in from Brighton, which was great. And he came in as an Inhumans player. We were like, oh, you'll fit right in you get.
Perfect.
And that was all well and good. He helped us out. And hilariously, the Italians needed a fill-in last minute. And Charlie decided he could go WTC again and join the Italians instead. So he went, oh, you mean last year's winners? Yeah, I'll join that team. Okay, cool. All right, thanks, Charlie. But that led to a funny game later, which we'll get into. So we went as a fun team and we ended up coming 12th overall. So I'm taking that as an absolute win, to be honest.
Yeah, you have a winning record of 3-2, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
really good.
I'm very happy with that.
Can you tell us though, was this the same rosters that you had from Nations, or how did the development of the rosters happen from Nations to here?
Yeah, it was extremely similar. So Mike was still on Avengers, Tom was still on Wakanda, Finn was on Web Warriors. Me and Finley had a chat on like January 1st of this year where we said one of us is going to play Web Warriors. Who do you want it to be? And that's what we're going to play for the rest of the year. And Finley said him. So Finley's been on Web Warriors all year. He was our star player alongside Matt, who was on Inhumans. And then I was just on X-Men, Storm X-Men as always. But I had a guest star of Gwenom instead of Dr. Voodoo. And she was amazing. I played her every single game. I had a lot of fun with her. So yeah.
Nice. Love it. Okay, so cool. So you guys just didn't do much tweaking, I imagine, from Nations to WTC.
I mean, we came second at Nations. That was like, it's like, let's maybe don't break it. It's absolutely fine. So yeah, we were happy with our lists.
Okay, cool. That's fantastic. Yeah. Folks, if you want to follow along with all the things we're going to be talking about from the event, go to Longshanks, and it's event number 28271, which is named MCP WTC 2025. Yeah. So I went on a team. I had a similar story as Charlie, sort of. I hadn't committed to a team yet because I thought I might have a work thing at the same weekend, so I couldn't commit. That work thing went away just at the same time as Team L Force lost their captain because of a real life thing that happened to him. So when he had to drop and mention that, I was like, "Oh, perfect timing! I want to join." So I joined up with L Force, which is a team that they kind of embryonically had put together, so it hadn't really gelled just yet. So I came in at a good time, which is great. So Andrea Severia, the Crimson Bear, he's the guy who writes the Inhumans blog. He was our captain. Playing Inhumans. And then I came, I'll tell them about my journey in a moment. The other guys was Pete Woodruff and his son Thomas. They come as a pair because, which is great. His son still likes to do stuff together. And so they came together. We convinced Pete that we needed an APOC player and to pick that up. So he picked up Apocalypse. Andrea, of course, was playing Inhumans. Thomas likes the attrition. And so he plays Guardians. And so he settled on them. And then it was a matter of me and John Excel. So John Excel was the 15 member from the group, and we were trying to figure out what to do. And Jamie, you've been on this journey with me actually since the last WTC. I think you've recognized that every month I play a different faction for like a month, 6 weeks, let's say, and do a tournament with them. And in fact, I was in Paris with you, and I was trying out my Asgard list.
Yeah.
I tried Avengers 1. I tried Inhumans. I tried Midnight Suns. And that's the lovely part about this for me is I have a goal of settling in on something for the big event, but I get to try all this stuff along the way, and I don't care how I do. It's more about like how is it fitting in the meta? How am I gelling with them or not? And I get to try all this cool stuff along the way.
Yeah, and that's the thing about WTC is it's like maybe it's like position in the calendar, the fact it's a team event, the fact it's really really big. It means it kind of becomes a flag in the sand for everyone, and people are they're planning their year around this event, right? And I think that's what a team event brings to it, because you're like, I need to settle on something because then I can slot in with my team, right? And that's really cool. Right. If it was a singles event, I think it's like exciting because you're just going to practice, all these characters. You have access to every character, and then you go to a singles event, and there'll be one winner. But I think the team event just brings this like extra preparation. There's all the chat leading up to it. We always talk about this, about how we love.
It's so
events.
good.
Yeah.
I said that actually. I actually found the words to express what I was thinking, Jamie, in our WhatsApp group for this team, which was, every day I woke up and was so happy when I saw notifications that were coming out of that chat, because it was just like, oh, I get to continue these conversations with the guys and debate stuff and commiserate about things, talk about what I learned in my last week's gaming sessions, stuff like that. Just it just had a nice reason to chat with everybody over a long period of time.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's I get really excited about that. When someone's like on the journey back yesterday, some people were like not happy with how they performed, and then they want to switch things up. They want to try something completely different. I get really excited about those chats. Like someone this morning asked for some tips on A-Force, and I just spoke to them for an hour about Captain Marvel and Phoenix.
Oh, nice.
Just like, this could work. You should try this. It's really cool. So, it's just team events are just the best. And I think it's the best way to play MCP, which is why our event in January is a team event, right? We really believe in it.
Yes, and we soaked up the last few players we needed to make 24 teams, so we are completely sold out.
Yeah, we're done. And it means we can aim for 32 teams in 2027.
Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah. So ultimately I ended up with Criminals because I was looking for a more scenario play oriented thing. Plus I wanted to play Daredevil, even though I did this in the first WTC, so 2 of them ago, or 3 now. The Mephisto and Loki 2 thing is just so fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it so much. So I wanted to play that. So I locked in. And part of it was also like, what can I do that isn't going to impede on everybody else's rosters that they already taken some characters, or at least one, like only had a couple overlaps that we could debate about. John went on a similar exploration. He wanted to play Attrition as well. He ultimately settled on Wakanda. So, we had a nice mixture of the meta monsters plus a few of the like mid-tier, second tier type of affiliations.
Yeah, I had some good chats actually about the kind of team makeup stuff.
Okay.
So Curtis in particular asked him how his event went, and he loved it, and he said that he learned that the most important thing is going with a team where everyone is on the same page. Of like, they're all there for the same vibe. So like the thing that we had this year is like my team, we're all there just like, we're not going to win. We're pretty good, but like, we're not going to win. Let's just make sure we go positive. So we'd gone 2-2 and then went into the last round, and it was like, that was our final. You know what I mean? It was like, this is all we care about is going positive. So like, this is really cool, let's have fun and, do that. And then you have people that are just there just because they want to play 5 games MCP, right? And that's for fun. And then you have the people that go to win, right? So I think what I really kind of, took away from this is try and find people that are kind of after the same goal as you, and you'll just have loads of fun,
Yes, agreed. And you can go for either reason. Any reason, as long as you got the people on the same page as you, just as you mentioned.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. There's a team for anyone. I want to talk about the journey as well, actually. You mentioned, so my first WTC, I've been to 3 now, 3 in a row. And my first one, I played Storm X-Men, because that's my jam, that's my thing. And then at the second one, I played Hellfire Club, because no one on my team wanted to take any of the models that were like best in the game. So I was like, oh, well, I'll take Hellfire Club. And I walked into the room at WTC, and I can confidently say I had the best roster in the room. Right. I had Broken Hellfire Club. I had Toad, Rhino, all the Bait Ray Bill, the most perfect singles roster I had at a team event, and I went 3-2, and just felt really sad about it. And one of those losses was against Storm X-Men, so I felt awful. And just was really bummed out, like we weren't there to win, but I wanted to do better than that. And I was telling this story, and I decided from last WTC, I'm playing Storm X-Men next year. That's all I care about. It's where my heart is. That's all I care about. And I was telling the story, and they were like, oh, great. So how'd you do this year? And I was like, oh. And I then realized that I went 3-2 this year as well. But I had the exact same score, but with a team that I like and that meant something to me. And I had way more fun. So I performed exactly the same, but with a team that I cared about. So I endorse people to do that, basically. Find a team you like, and just that's your WTC team. Just play that, and you'll figure it out.
I could tell, because the few times I did bounce into you during the course of the gaming on Saturday and Sunday, you just seemed just happy. You were just really happy to be there, kind of a thing, and not in a social sense. Just like the games were
definitely not
fun.
In a social sense.
No. You were just really happy about playing these games. Which
well,
is
that's
great.
the thing. People kept asking me how the team was doing, and I didn't know. Because I was just having fun playing, and I didn't know if we'd won or lost. Some of our teammates didn't want to know if we were winning or losing the round while they were still playing. So I'd finish my game and just walk away, and I'd just forget if I'd won or not. I don't care, because I'm just having fun, And also, I had a little side quest, which was I wanted to make sure that I could flex and be really good at the pairing process and put myself into Apocalypse every round. And I did.
Oh, yeah.
I did.
Yes, we have to talk about that.
6 times.
Yes.
5 times. 5 times.
5 times. Yeah, 5 times. All right. Spoilers for me. My team went 2-3, which we were thrilled about, being the L Force. We were not expecting anything, so that was good. And I personally went 2-3 as well.
Nice.
So that's that. So we'll talk about that now. Right. So let us get into the games. I'm just calling up the Longshanks, and let me not make this mistake like last time. Round 1. Oh, I think he might have changed the way it's shown, but that's fine. Anyhow, you got to play the most fun Swedish team, the Swedish Leftovers, in round 1. Yes. Oh, man.
One of my favorite MCP players. I'm not entirely sure what his real name is, but he's the Collector on
yes.
I love playing against him. He's the most like thematic, narrative-driven player. It's great, and he was the he was the captain, so I was very happy about that. This was fun. I was against Ole, and at the start of the game, they said that they were a listener of the podcast.
Oh, nice.
And I was very happy about that. And then by the end of the game, they said they would stop listening to the podcast because my dice were so good. so yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So this was your first APOC game, I guess.
Yes. So I think we can probably speedrun mine a little bit because I played Apocalypse 5 games in a row. And that was intentional. I feel like I have good play into Apocalypse. Some people disagree. It was funny because...
Tell us why, though. What's the strategy?
Basically, similar to what I said about the Nations thing, I think that Apocalypse players are coming to pay-to-flips, and it's new for some people, whereas X-Men players have been on pay-to-flips for years.
Donkey's years,
yeah. And I feel very comfortable on pay-to-flips. And they have a certain weight over extracts, like other secures don't have. So, something like if you activate last and flip a bunch of points, that's way more important than, getting an attrition lead and grabbing the extracts. So I feel really comfortable on it, and I'm basically testing my opponent to be like, how well do you know pay-to-flips? And also the kind of MCP that I enjoy the most is like where every activation matters and you're not rolling a bunch of dice. So
yes.
Apocalypse v X-Men I love because I just go super wide, and basically Apocalypse has to commit to a flank, right? And then I'm all about like moving the extracts to the other side, wasting his activations. Like if Apocalypse will he'll hit Toad, I will happily Xavier's Dream Toad to keep him alive, and then move Toad to like further away to a flank so that Apocalypse has to choose, okay, do I chase that guy with the extract or do I go kill the rest of the team? And it's basically just my exact kind of game that I enjoy playing. Very chess-like. So I love playing against Apocalypse, and I love playing Xavier's Dream on Toad because I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
So, it's basically, that's it. So I don't think I should go into it game by game. But I was kind of trying to prove a point. If you listen to our How to Beat Apocalypse episode, I'm a big supporter of Apocalypse. I think that I learned a lot this event as well. I think I saw the wide spectrum of Apocalypse players. In that the ones that had just picked him up, there was a guy that I played and he said it was his 11th game with Apocalypse. There was some fundamental stuff that just made the game a little bit easier for X-Men.
Right.
And then the players that are really good and have been playing him all year just destroyed me. And it was just it was night and day. And I just think I think Apocalypse is very strong. He's clearly very strong. But people that are screaming for a nerf on him, I think that they're probably just seeing the good players. It's a bit of the rich get richer kind of thing. I think you've got your Pat Dunford and your Collar, who are extremely good players playing a very strong affiliation. They're rewarded for being that good at the game. Yeah. But it's not a plug and play thing.
Hell no.
I think it takes a lot of reps. It takes a very good player to understand, target priority. They're like an attrition and a crisis team at the same time. And they're characters that people don't play very much. And then the horseman cards give them extra abilities. So they're very confusing. There's a whole economy that they have. I think they're incredibly well designed. I'm not saying they're balanced, but I think they're more balanced than people say. Because we see Apocalypse winning events all the time, but it is the best players playing Apocalypse,
Yeah.
And I think
it attracts, that playstyle attracts that kind of player, doesn't it?
Yes. It's got a lot of depth. And there was one player that, I played and he missed a bunch of his horseman triggers and messed up his economy and he said, this is his 11th game. And I think you see the same thing with Inhumans, way less. The first 5 or 6 games with Inhumans, you just mess the leadership up. And the whole thing is kaput, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because they're very turn one dependent as well, kind of like X-Men. So if you screw that up, then your game plan is kind of over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, X-Men is a good example as well. If you mess up their kind of safe grab stuff round one, or if you don't first class properly or don't deploy properly, the whole thing falls apart. So I think there's just a steep learning curve. Now, obviously, Apocalypse is strong. People are looking at the win rate of this event, and he's like 63% or something. So we'll get to that at the end. But I still think I stand by what I said. I think he is very well designed, and he rewards good players. And he's only slightly overtuned. But I know that's controversial. And hilariously, I went 3-2, right? I had people messaging me saying, "Here, see, told you can't beat Apocalypse every round." And I also had people messaging me saying, "Wow, you really proved your point. You beat Apocalypse 3 times." So it's like he's very divisive. You know what I mean? So I'm happy with going positive.
All right, we're going to leave it that, but I am going to query you on the ones that you lost when we get to them, just to see what lessons you learned from that, okay?
Sure, cool.
All right, so you guys went a powerful round 1, 5-0, but the Collector was playing Dracula as the leader, so whatever that is, not Legion of Lost, is it?
No, that was
Thralls.
That was Legion of Lost, Mephisto.
Oh, he's Mephisto.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know what happened there. That was really fun. They played Mysterio and Loki 2 on a flank, which is hilarious because you can do Grand Illusion and suddenly your opponent's rolling loads of skulls that Loki then can pity them for.
Oh, God.
So that's really fun. And then on the other flank, they had Dracula Mephisto. So that was hilarious because, and that's a very Collector move to do as well. They love these like weird synergies and I'll just figure out a way to play this. And I think that's why it was Mephisto's leadership.
And it was a tight game. Tom Lewis was playing that one, but he only won 16-15. So that sounds exciting. Yeah. Cool. Anything other aspects of the round that you want to mention that was of interest?
Not really. There was an Avengers mirror, which was fun. It was just Steve 1 versus Steve 1. So it was just, who gets the most charges off, who gets to roll the best dice. So there was a lot of that.
Who had
Mike.
priority in that one? Mike had priority, so that probably helped.
Yeah. So.
Cool. Great. Good start. Must be good to kind of get that kind of all the jitters out of the way with a 5-0.
A big old 5-0. Feels good, doesn't it?
Yep, it totally does. Right. On our end, let me get to my games. On my game, we played the Irish team Banshee Bones, which was so fun because it had Coddle from Rapid Fire podcast. Definitely listen to Rapid Fire. They're going to do some wrap-ups. And he's an extremely good player. He also had Anto O'Reilly, who's definitely a very good player. And then they had, let me just see here. They had 2 folks that have played for some time now. So I'd say they're not new, but not quite veterans yet. And they had a brand new player, Jay, who I actually ended up playing. And he came out of 40K not like 6 months ago.
Oh, wow.
And his mind was blown. He was like, this, like, this, I always say this about the GW guys. The reason that they don't come to play our games more is because they just can't get out of the ecosystem. They can't imagine a different world is what I'm trying to say. And he was one of the ones that broke free. He's like the guy who takes the red pill in the Matrix.
You're like
Seriously.
Morpheus. You're like the Morpheus.
Yeah.
You're like, do you want to know the truth? Do you want to wake up? I can show you a way.
I will accept that, sir. Thank you very much. I totally agree with that. And he took the red pill and his eyes were open. The scales fell from his eyes. And he's like, this game is amazing. And I said, I know.
And to thank him, you're like, welcome to MCP. Anyway, here's Loki 2. And you're going to have no fun this game.
I did, yeah. He ended up playing Wakanda. Did he win priority? Yeah, he won priority. He pulled not my secures, so which makes sense. So I played Shadowland Daredevil into him with Mephisto. And he, to his credit, he knew what they did because he had friends that were playing him. So it wasn't like that. But it's just a hard roster if you don't. The flexibility of it is the problem, and so he's new still. So anyhow. We were doing quite well, but in the end, lost a key fifth match, and so ended up losing 2-3 this round. So hats off to the Banshee Bones guys. They were really fun. They gave us some treats as well, which was really nice. And so I felt good. I needed a warm-up game because I didn't have one on Friday, and so it was good for me to be able to get this game in and win it and start kind of feeling good, kind of thing.
That's great.
Yeah.
We should talk about the gifts. Actually, that is one part of WTC. Is a lot of teams bring gifts to give the other team. So Weapon Flex brought tea bags. and some stickers with our logo on it. So that was cool. And we got loads of really great like Swedish chocolate, some like Swiss chocolate, some what else did we get? Some like wafer things. Yeah, with loads of treats. It was great.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I got a bunch of Emma Frost 3D print figures from like the Marvel Rivals version of her. That was great.
Yes.
I also play Emma Frost in Marvel Rivals, so I love that.
Ah, fantastic. We had L4 stickers with Bob. Bob was our mascot.
Nice.
So we were giving out the stickers, which was cool. I really like the sticker, actually. And so, the clutch game that was the pivotal one was where Pete, our APOC player, was playing against Anto O'Reilly, playing in humans. And Pete lost that game 18-19.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. It was rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's fun. That's fun. You know what I mean? These are how stories are made. And that's what it's all about. Okay, round 2. Let me find it.
Hopping off of our 5-0 round 1.
Oh, dear.
We're feeling good. We're like, look, we just came second in Nations. We've just done 5-0, first round WTC. We're ready. Who are we playing? Oh, no. It's Italy Maestro.
former champions from last
world
year.
champions from last year. Like, oh, my God.
With Charlie. Don't forget, you're Finley's brother.
Exactly, right? So let me tell you, Norbert, this was the grudge match of all grudge matches, okay? Year 1, right? I played Italy Maestro in round 2, and I played Alessandro, and I was playing X-Men, he was playing Avengers, and I was about to win, and I made one fatal error right at the end. I think I tried to play Brace, so I didn't have it, and he beat me. I was devastated. So then year 2, he recognized me and said, hey, we played last year. I play X-Men because you did. And I was like, oh, cool. Well, I'm playing Hellfire, so I'm going to mess you up. So I'm like, I'm going to play you again. So we played again, and he beat me with my own team, Norbert. I was heartbroken. I was on Hellfire, he was on X-Men.
Are you telling me that you've played him 3 years in a row now?
Intentionally. So he challenged me last year, and I was like, cool, I'm going to beat you. And I was so upset after that game, because I was like, I should be playing X-Men. What am I playing Hellfire for? He just beat me with X-Men. It was like a sign from God. And then we rocked up to the table for this round, and I looked at him, I went, you are going to play me now. And he was like, not if you're on X-Men, I'm on Apocalypse, we're not going to play together. And I was like, no, I'm so good at the pairing process, I'm going to make you play me now. And then long story short, we did the pairing process, and then it's X-Men v Apocalypse, and I got
You forced him into the matchup.
I said, this is it. 3 years running. 3 years in a row we're going to play.
Right. Oh, so, amazing.
It was a grudge match of all grudge matches. And Finley Trendle, note the surname, got paired into Charlie Trendle. So not only was Charlie batting from the wrong side, so he quit Weapon Flex and then joined the Italians, and now we're playing him, and he has to play his brother. You can't write it any better, Norbert.
No,
the drama,
so good.
The drama.
I heard this. Charlie was telling me that because they're brothers and been playing games since they were kids, he said they just are filthy nasty to one another at the gaming table. Like, if other people overheard what was going on there, they would say it was not okay.
Yeah, 100%. So Finn said to me, whatever you do, don't put me into Charlie because it will ruin my weekend. That's what he said to me. And the cards fell, and Charlie and Finley played some practice games in the week, and Finley beat him every single time in the practice games. So I was like, Finn, we've got to do it. I was like, I'll let you choose, but sure, this is it. This is for the win, right? And also, we were saying that Italy Maestro, they're probably they're the favourites, right? The favourites to win. And all we wanted to do was if we just beat these guys, it means that England 51% might be able to win. So that was what we cared about. Like, we just need to beat these guys, and then if we lose every other game, doesn't matter. We did our job for king and country. we cleared the area for England. Anyway, so we went. Finley took it, thankfully. So then it was Tom on my left, me playing Alessandro in the middle, Finley on the right, and Tom and Finley were the two most miserable, negative MCP players I've ever heard in my life. And I'm trying to have this grudge match, 3 years in the waiting grudge match, and those two are just complaining the whole time. And obviously, because Finn and Charlie are brothers, like Finley's just like abusing him, like he's telling him he hates him. At one point, he dazed the character, and Finn threw the extract at him. I was like, it was just unreal, and the
salt was flowing.
It was so much. It was a family drama. It was like I was in EastEnders. So and then anyway, we're playing this game. I'm super distracted. I had to put my fingers in my ears at one point because I couldn't concentrate. Alessandro got annoyed at me as well at one point. We had an argument. So it was I was surrounded by negativity. I was like, this is the least fun I've ever had playing this game. And then I look over, and Finley has been complaining for an hour and a half. I look at the scoreboard. They're putting the score in Longshanks. Finn won.
Yeah. Of course.
I was like, all that complaining. I actually shouted. I was like, all that complaining. You've distracted me this whole game and you still won. Get out. Go away. Get out of here. Yeah.
So, all I can say as a Salt Lord, I approve of this style of play. And
what we've learned, right, what we always need to learn is in MCP, no matter how good you are at the game, I don't think you ever know that it's over. That's the point. That's the point I'm trying to get to. Because Finn was completely convinced that it was over. He was swearing the whole time. He was miserable. And he still won the game. So never concede. Never give up. Never surrender.
Well, I'm looking at these scores, dude. Listen to these scores. One game, Italy won 18-16. Then Italy won 16-14. Italy won 18-14. And Finley won 17-15. There's literally 2 points apart every match. It could have gone either way.
Yeah, exactly. Close, right?
Very close. Exciting. So, unfortunately, Finley was the only win. You guys went 4-1. I will leave Tom Lewis out of this discussion because we don't need to antagonize the poor
Listen,
guy.
Tom learned some things about Wakanda. Unfortunately, he learned them at WTC, but he learned some things, and that's good. That's bad.
Okay. What did you learn from this loss? This is one of your two losses.
That, so the reason I lost this one is I think we were on hammers, and there just weren't enough extracts on the table for me to do my little keep away plan from Apocalypse. And obviously, like the dreaded Apocalypse activation where he's killed everything on one side of the board, and then he flips a pay to flip, and then he famine hops, double moves to the other side of the board, flips that as well. And it's like, right, great. Now this guy's running Crisis, and he's in position to now kill me next round. So very scary. I learned that Apocalypse is scary.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, but so part of it is you're dependent on your extract game going your way. Is the lesson.
You need extracts to go. You need, I mean, Apocalypse are weird because they bring pay to flips, but also slow extracts. So it's a bit of a weird, multifaceted thing. But it was a close one.
Right on. So we played the joint effort team in the second round, which is so fun. It was a whole bunch of French Belgians plus actual Frenchmen, including Ikari, the mighty Ikari was there on the team. I got a double kiss as soon as we walked up to the tables.
I got one of those as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so nice. I was like, I'm in. I'm part of the cultural phenomenon. Yeah. And so I was confused because the Belgians were there. I saw their shirts, but then they were speaking French. And I was like, so this is the French side of Belgium, as opposed to, because there was another Belgian team, of course, and they were in the more Flemish side, I think. So there we are. So that's who we played. And I ended up playing, where's my game? I ended up playing Chris Plovey. He was playing Guardians of the Galaxy. So, and I went up with Kingpin, which is a little scary because, yes, I definitely have the scenario game going, but if he blows me up, which he's very likely to do playing Guardians, then, my potatoes then become injured, and then they're not as exciting on the secure play. Fortunately, the dice gods were not pleased with Chris for some reason or another, and those dice were not cooperating whatsoever. It was horrific. It was really bad. I was just commiserating with him the entire time. So the poor guy, but he held it together nice, super nice guy. And I have to say, as usual, I had no problems with any of the players. I hope they didn't have any problems with me. I will tell you also, Jamie, you're my emotional coach. I actually held it together.
Well done.
This convention. Yes, it did get salty, but very late game in 2 instances. Very late game that I get salty. And in fact, one guy even said the salt is justified, and he bought me a beer. So I felt a little vindicated. Yeah, that was super cool. We'll come to that game. But anyway, I wanted to give you a salt report before.
I appreciate the salt report.
Thank you. So we did well on this one. We won this one 4-1, which was great. Predictably, Ikari won his game, though. So that was the one win for them sides, because Ikari is amazing at this game.
I really like Ikari, and this is the event that I found out that he is the famous French person that refused to let someone play first class. And I went and told him off for it.
But he did give you a double kiss. So
he gave me a double kiss. I was very conflicted. I wasn't sure how that interaction went, and I scomped off back to my corner.
Social situations are so hard to navigate, aren't they, Jerry?
Especially, so this was interesting. We talked on the way back. Like, obviously, different cultures collide, right? So I think there was a bunch of times where my sarcasm didn't quite translate, and I was left feeling really awkward. And we were joking. Finley won Best Sporting So
Yes.
all his
Yeah,
more
congrats.
of his opponents voted for him to win best point, which is great. But I was stood next to him every game. And he is miserable and salty and horrible. And we couldn't figure out why. Finley was also confused, but I think I figured it out. I think it's because when stuff goes bad for Finley, he'll be like, oh, okay, you just did 7 damage on 5 dice. Well, I guess Miles is one shot then. That's brilliant. That's great for you. And it'll give you the extract. And I think that if English isn't your first language, maybe you don't detect the sarcasm. And, you know, word for word, that's actually quite friendly, right?
Oh my God, you're so right. Oh, that is wrong. He totally stole that prize. Damn it.
If anyone filmed him accepting that prize, you'll see him shaking his head because he doesn't agree with it either. But I guess, you know, he presents his anger in a friendly and funny way, I guess. So people liked it. So good for him.
Yeah. He's a charismatic as he does it.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
that is an award that it will be forever out of my reach.
You will never get best sporting, Norbert, I'm afraid.
No.
And, you know, you win every other award of my heart, but not that one.
I win the Salt Award. Why don't they have a Salt Award?
That's not something we should be awarding.
No?
And you wouldn't have won it either. You know there was someone more salty than you there.
Oh, yeah. There was some salt flowing. I was like looking around going, where's all this salt coming from? Because it's not coming from me.
Yeah, lots of salt. But we're trying to stay positive about this. If you just go to any MCP Discord, you'll probably see what happened.
The salt mines have been working overtime.
Yeah. Just only the finest Italian salt.
You read those articles. Jamie, sir.
I told you I'd sneak it in somehow.
Yeah, I was supposed to stop you. That's right. The finest Pete salt was spilled over the highway all around the hotel.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm
salt
up.
on that though, salt is okay as long as it's directed at the game. That's the problem, right? That's my
100%.
That's where my line is. You can be salty at the dice, salty at the characters, but I even mean like you can't be salty at the affiliation your opponent's playing, because I saw a bit of that as well, where someone was like, this stupid game, I only lost because you're playing Apocalypse. Because you're insulting your opponent there.
Yeah,
but being salty at dice, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Oh, that's so good. There's something else I wanted to say that was funny, but that was funnier. So we're going to move on. It'll come back to me. That was just so funny. Oh, God. Okay. Right. Round 3. Here we are. Round 3. Last round of the game. So you're 1-1. Ooh,
yes.
Tense.
So I have some interesting non-game stories related to this
one. Okay. Please. Those are what I want.
So these are more sweet.
Oh, no, sorry. I remember the story. All right. I remember the story. You remember you talking about how Finley wins because people don't understand English sarcasm because of how subtle it is, right? Because of the language barrier.
Yes.
Okay. So Mike Field May on your team told us a great story on the way home on the train. Did you remember this? So he's playing an Austrian team, and some guy was, his opponent was rolling a monster pile of dice.
This is my story.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll leave it. Is it coming?
No, I'll tell it now because I'll forget. Okay. But basically, we were talking about cultural differences, right?
Right.
And his gambit did a big beam and dazed 3 people because he rolled a bunch of wilds. And I was like, oh my God, gambit is crazy. I was like, all those wilds. I was like, this is crazy. And I'm really happy gambit's doing good now, right? As a mutant fan, but it was against me, so I was conflicted. But I was like, Jesus, like you can see all the cards flying everywhere. Like he probably said, I'm like going crazy. And then the Austrian just replies with, yes, he is quite effective. And it was just very different vibes. And that was a very good cultural difference, I thought. I loved it.
But I have another story with the Austrians, so that's different than that one, but that's very good. So Mike said he tanked some crazy dice pool that he had no business tanking. And so he says to the guy, ooh, wow, I really managed to get through that okay, but I don't think my pants did. And the other guy had no idea he was referring to him shitting his pants for getting through that monster dice roll. And the guy was looking at him going, okay. And
are your pants okay? Do you need a break? Yeah. You forget that these weird, like, subtle jokes that we all have in our cultures don't land all the time. That's all. Yeah.
Wow, so you had an eventful Austrian matches. Oh man,
yeah. But this round, I've got more stories for this round. We played more Swedes.
Okay, yeah. So, second set of Swedes. These are the last minute men. Yes. Spoilers: you went 4-1 into them. So what happened?
Yes. So first off, they came to the table and they said, "Did you have to fly far from America?" And we were like, oh no, we're not American. So then we made a joke about, all English and American people look the same. Right. And then they laughed and said, haha, it's okay because we're Swiss. And then all 5 of us were like, oh, okay, sorry. And they were like, no, it's a joke. So it's just, no one's jokes were landing, basically. No one knew what was going on. And then,
everybody's trying to be funny and it's not working.
Well, we're entertaining our own teams, and that's the important part. But yeah, and then so that was funny. So the whole thing was like, oh, haha, you thought we were American, but we're actually English. And then my opponent said, time for you to get revenge on me. And I was like, what? We've never met before. And he said, remember that time in Malmo? And I was like, oh yeah, I went to Malmo. And he said, you got so drunk that night that you showed up to the game 5 minutes late. And my whole team looked at me just like, Jamie doesn't really drink. That can't have been him. And then I was like, he thinks I'm John Jenner.
It was
like the other Englishman, the other English guy.
Yeah.
So I just pretended to be John Jenner for the rest of the game because I felt too awkward to correct him. So.
That's amazing.
But yeah,
John Jenner. Well, he does have similar hair.
I'll take being compared to John Jenner. He's a good-looking man, so I'm okay with that.
Yes,
I am okay with that.
Very successful at life as well. So
yes, exactly. Yeah,
he's a full package, ladies. But he's taken. He's taken.
Yeah. So the funny story about this then is we got the pairing cards and they had Dormammu on one of the pairing cards, and I was like, oh, cool, Dormammu. And I looked at the character list, and it was Dormammu, and then it was 9 Inhumans characters. And I was like, hang on a minute, you're playing Inhumans. And he was like, you got me. So that was fun. So yeah, so we go, okay, he's just like, he's playing a prank, like, he's actually Inhumans. So I paired Mike into him. I was like, yeah, there you go. That's our plan for Inhumans. And then we put our models down and Mike goes, Jamie! I look over and he's played Dormammu. He's actually real Dormammu. And I was like, oh my God, Mike isn't ready for this. Little does he know that Mike is the England's Dormammu player. And he beat him 16-4. He knew exactly what was coming.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Mike does like his Dormammu, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a good Dormammu Mike.
Now, I have poor Tom. I wouldn't bring this up. He lost again. He was the one who lost. And I wouldn't bring it up, except it was a Wakanda on Wakanda matchup. Did he learn anything from that game? Seriously?
He says he did. Yeah, he says he did. He actually, after that game, he went and looked at all the lists at WTC and realized that his Wakanda is slightly different to everyone else's. So he's been studying. He watched Curtis play Wakanda for a game as well, and he's learning a lot. So yeah, he's got some changes, and he actually played a game today. That's how keen he is. He came back Monday, played a game at lunchtime, and he won. And he thinks he's figured something out. So yeah, we're going to the January team tournament, and he's bringing his learnings with him. So
so he's going to stick to the Wakanda. Nice one.
He is sticking to Wakanda. Yeah,
brilliant. Okay. Round 3 for me was against the Jutland Juggernuts. So,
nice.
Thank you. Jutland is the biggest part of Denmark. Bizarrely, Copenhagen is like in this weird little archipelago part of the country. The big, huge part is called Jutland, which is mostly farmland kind of a thing. So somewhat isolated, as I understand it. Anyhow, these guys are great. I know them very well. I know one of the younger guys from many years now playing MCP, even online. And they're super cool guys and quite good. So we played against them. I got paired up into actually Victor, who's known as Polar on the Discord. And he reminded me about why Web Warriors is still very good. I don't know, because it went exactly how, he won priority, which was the big role. So he took his secures naturally. So Kingpin was off the table. So I'm playing Shadowland Daredevil. And he went 8 wide. I think certainly it was 8, certainly 7.
You were Mutant Madmen. Did he bring Mutant Madmen?
Yeah, it was him. That was his.
That's not a very Websy secure. Interesting.
Well, it was good enough because he had an answer for everything, and I'll hand it to him. Not him, but the bloody affiliation just as an answer to everything. I was doing all these incredibly interesting things to try to stop what I knew was happening, and they just had another thing. Yeah. Okay, you're going to stop me from flipping that thing? Okay, I'm just going to steal it from you. Oh, you're going to try to come after me? Oh, I'm just going to, run away. It's like always something. It's reminded me, like, why aren't people still playing this guy? Miles.
This was old school Web Warriors, right?
Oh yeah.
Of course it was, because the new models weren't legal with this one.
Yeah. It was old school Miles. But the I have to say, the piece de resistance for the win, he scored up to 15, but he got a Spider-Woman interrogate off.
Oh, that is nice.
Yeah, it was pretty classy.
Yeah,
it was
that's
definitely
cool.
Classy.
That's very cool.
And this was one of the game. I didn't say anything at all about what was happening to me until the game was over, and I said, effing Web Warriors are still effing horrible to play against. And that was it. That was 100% of my salt. So I feel good. Okay. That was like a little packet.
Yeah, that's okay. A little packet, a little sachet of salt. Yeah, I think that's okay. And also, like Apocalypse and Inhumans are allowing Web Warriors to get away with it right now. Because the Eye of Sauron isn't looking at Web Warriors right now.
Right. Yeah.
They're not egregiously good, but they are very, very strong. So, yeah.
So, but it was a narrow loss. We lost this one again narrowly, 2-3 against those guys. So, and they did quite well in the overall event scoring. So, I feel okay with that. So, so that was round 3. So that was Saturday. We've talked about all the shenanigans that were happening Saturday night and the good food we ate. So let us just carry on to round 4. What do you say?
Yes, love it.
All right, round 4, first day on Sunday. How was your team in terms of their heads and energy levels?
Oh, great. Fantastic. We actually, because we went out for drinks the night before, it was quite good. I was carrying some baggage from my team from the previous year because we all kind of, fell out towards the end. Just not fell out. That's extreme. But our goals were different, I think. And, what we wanted from the pairing process was different. And there was a lot of blame being thrown around. It was just a mismatch of vibes. But this one was great because the Saturday night we went out with for drinks and everyone was just complimenting each other the whole time and saying it was good. I got told I was a good captain. That surprised the hell out of me. I love that a lot.
And in WTC, the paying process is not straightforward. So that is saying something.
It's stupid. I hate it.
We're doing a different one in January, folks, and we're going to see if it's any good. And
we've made
we can put it forward.
We've invented the pairing process. Yeah, and with Ollie, who is easily the best England captain when it comes to pairing process. So he's helped us design one.
Ooh, I'd put Connor into that discussion.
I think Connor's got enough accolades, but we'll get onto that.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Right, so round 4 is into Austria Unleashed. This one you got wiped 4-1.
Yes.
4-1. Let me try to find the winner. Who won here? I don't see. Oh, there he is. Matt Halfrey, the Inhumans player, took out old man Eric playing Guardians. I'm not sure if Eric is older than me or not, but you know what? He looks older than me.
He definitely holds. He can contest your Salt trophy.
Oh yeah.
When Matt got paired into him, I gave him a little whisper and was like, "This guy gets really salty. Be careful." And apparently he did after the prior role. So which to be fair is probably more of an Inhumans thing than anything else. But that was our one win, and this Apocalypse game was really, really hard for me. And my opponent Sailor Many was asking why I'm pairing myself into Apocalypse, and I said, well, 1, to prove a point that I don't think he's that strong, and 2, I think X-Men have good game into him. And he said, that's funny. I feel like X-Men are the best opponent for Apocalypse to get. I think they're really easy to beat. And I was like, really wanted to argue with him, but he just beat me, so I can't.
Yeah.
I was like, no, it's not that bad. Yeah. But so that was really tricky. But I messed up. I actually, genuinely, my first activation of the game, I moved Storm when I should have moved Iceman. Just a completely stupid thing. And I said, I didn't need to do that. Can I just move Iceman? And my opponent rightly said, no, you've done it now. And I was like, yep, fair enough. And then I moved Storm and she dazed and KO'd by round 2 because she was on the midline. So complete mistake from me. So I'd love to play that game again because that was a real obvious mistake. And then the rest of the game didn't really happen. But there was a really fun moment in there where I played Gwenum every game. And Gwenum was chasing Toad around. And that was really fun because I did a little storm hop on Gwen on round 1 so that she can then attack Toad from range 3, and then he slipperies, but she moves long, so she's now close to him in the range. She hits him again, and then
so good. Yeah. Oh yes,
it was really fun.
Wow.
I'm bored of playing Voodoo in X-Men. It's just a bit boring. But also,
like this,
Gwenum, I should talk about Gwenum more actually. She's great, and Voodoo doesn't have a pay to flip game, but he's obviously the best extract player in the game. But Gwenum having movement and a throw, and she's good on pay to flips, and having 2 energy defense doesn't really matter when you have Spider's Sense and Storm's leadership reroll. So she was fine. She was okay. And obviously having pick on someone your own size is good. If they start beating up your mutant friends, she can hit them back. And there was one game where she was it this game? No, it was a different game. But Apocalypse came and went to attack her. I sacrificed onto Beast so that she could pick on someone your own size back to Apocalypse and spended him and just one-shot him. And healed everything. I was like, well, that's pretty good. I mean, that's probably not a Gwenum thing. That's just a 7 dice attack being lucky. But I played her every game and loved her. She's great. She's amazing in Storm. For those that don't know, if you Storm hop with Gwenham and then attack, you can then move long and then attack again. And then that attack gets 4 rerolls and you can move long again. So you can do stuff like attack the midline, run to their back pay to flip it, hopefully grab the extract, run back to your pay to flip and be safe. It's pretty nuts. No character in the game could do that, and it's pretty cool.
It is wild. That is wild.
The problem is she's rolling 5 dice attacks, which aren't that reliable, but yes.
Oh, it's X-Men, Anti-Mutant Gang. Okay. Quick point out to JJ's game against Finley. That game, JJ won 17-16. Wow.
Yeah, real
exciting.
Close. I think that was the last one to finish as well. That was super close the whole game. Yeah.
Right. So our team played the Invincible Iron Brew from Scotland, which is really fun. Great name that we've seen from War Machine days, which is fantastic. And I got to play against a guy I've known for ages since War Machine called Fraser Penman. But we never played together. So this was the first time we played. Yes. Yeah. So it was really fun. And we wanted to soak up their Crims roster, which Fraser was playing. So we got paired into each other. So it was a Crims on Crims. And he was going on in a friendly way, not in a salty way at all, about, we're going to have to play a normal game now. You know, nobody gets to use their Kingpin leadership. Ha, ha, ha. And I'm sitting there going, yeah. Well, guess what? I'm playing Shadowland Daredevil, and I'm just going to try. You got a bunch of potatoes. I'm going to eat your potatoes for lunch. And so I had the best game of the entire weekend against Fraser. It was so good. He won priority. Sorry. I won priority. I beg your pardon. Did I? Yeah, I won priority, but I liked his extracts better for me because they were very high scoring ones than mine. And I said to myself, I'm going to try to beat him up and get extracts because I'm not going to win the secure game, right? And luckily, I got Extremis, which isn't the worst it wasn't Scoundrels, right? So I got Extremis. So it's not great, a lot of rotation, but I knew from experience, I really wanted Terrigen canisters because there was 5 points on the table and they make everybody slow who has them. And I've played this game as Kingpin and it stinks. You can't do your rotation that Kingpin wants to do to stay on the away from fights. Because you're slow. Yeah. So kind of neuters it a bit. So I was like, this is going to be a good game now. And sure enough, it was. It was fantastic. I was holding it together. I was tied every round.
Nice.
Off of my extracts. Yes, it was great. Until...
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Is there going to be some salt here?
Yeah. This is when Shang-Chi, the best character in the friggin' game, with his mystic attacks, did 4 attacks into Rhino across 2 rounds and did not even come close to dazing or KOing him. Did not even close.
Yeah.
And so Mephisto tries to save today by going after some friggin' ninjas who have an extract, and he doesn't kill the damn ninjas.
Oh my God.
All right. So I will submit this evidence to the Salt Council and say I was I was justified in being rather salty about this situation. But despite all that, I was tied every round of the game until the very last one when he was able to score like 6. And then so he won, but he won 17-15. I was 2 points behind.
Close game. Sounds great until,
it was really close game.
Best character in the game didn't show up.
Didn't show up. No. It was, So it was really good. Had either one of those kind of things I did have a little bit of luck. Okay, let me be fair. I did have a little luck. Rhino managed to 2-round Shadowland Daredevil with an extract, which probably shouldn't have happened. So I did get an extract, which kept me in the game there. But honestly, the rest of the nonsense that was happening on the other side of the table was just ridiculous. And Fraser played a great game trying to deal with the short move stuff. He had Juggernaut and Rhino, and so they were able to kind of do their Stampede and I don't know, what's the Juggernaut one called?
Nothing stops the Juggernaut.
Is that what it is? Yeah. So he was getting around the table and dealing with the short problem well. So he played that great. So anyway, it was fantastic. So my favorite game of the match of the tournament. Yeah,
sounds great.
We lost that round 2-3. Another nail biter essentially,
nice.
And it was great. Our team was great, considering that we were coming for the lulls, which might have been what L stands for. You never know. Nobody really knows. Everybody kept asking. We kept denying. Some say it's London. Some say it was Loser Force. Some say it was Lulz.
Lull Force. Yeah.
Love Force. Anything. we were doing quite well. With 3s and 2s, 2s and 3s the whole weekend. That was fantastic for us. All right, let's bring it home. 5th round for you was against the Crisis Protocol a-holes from Belgium.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is the Flemish side of Belgium.
Yes, this was a lot of fun. There was some fun stuff here where for me to get my sweet Gwenham play off that I just mentioned, I needed Cable to basically double move and throw a size 4 bus into nothing. Just to open up the play for Gwenham. I was that committed to it. I was like, I'm just going to move that bus out of the way so I can do this whole play that I have planned. And it went off. Gwenham went into Gambit, dazed him, got his extract, jumped on the back secure, threw Blob away, flipped the point, moved back. Oh, it was awesome. Yeah, it was the most Gwenham that Gwenham has ever Gwenhamed. It was beautiful.
Oh, that must have been fun because that's a character people just don't playing. So good for you, man.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
So fun. This was a 4-1. I won't mention who lost the one match, but it's. I think everybody can guess who it was.
We should defend him a little bit. Tom Lewis went 6-0 last year at his debut WTC. All right. Yeah. So we knew it was always downhill from here. We knew it was downhill. And then when we won in the first round, he was like, oh my God, I'm 7-0 at WTC. And we were like celebrating that. So yeah, all good things come to an end. So over like 2 WTCs, he's got quite a good win rate,
Yes. But hubris is a bitch.
Yes.
Moving on. Poor Tom. I love you, Tom, honestly.
He's coming back. He's coming back. Watch this space in January. He'll be back.
Okay. It's just funny because he's like the only lost in some instances. Otherwise, it wouldn't be remarkable.
You know what? And this maybe this is a sign of me being a good captain. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that was the case.
Yeah, that's right. Focus on the overall result. It's about the team. It's all about the team.
Because also, you don't know who. That's the thing with team tournaments, man. That's why it's so good. Tom might have been playing their best player every round.
Yeah.
And then you lose that way.
As a matter of fact, for that matter, 5th round, I got tossed into the mauler on this one.
Oh, yeah?
Actually, I take it back. We messed up the pairing process round 3 when I played Web Warriors. I said to the guys, I cannot play against Web Warriors. I am 100% not tech for them. Yeah. But the pairing process went awry, and I ended up with Web Warriors. So that happened. And then this round, I definitely took it on the chin this last round, and I lost. But that was by design. So it was fine. And we won the round. So that's what's important. It's 100% what's important. Absolutely. All right. Round 5, for me was against the Last Minute Men. So the same Swedes that you played. And I got paired into, as I said, the Apocalypse player. Guy was so clean. What a clean player. He was like, I only play TTS. I don't have people around me. Yeah. So, and he played like that. And like, there were a couple of, the terrain, like we were up on terrain, but you had to measure down to terrain. And it freaked him out a little bit. And I was like, dude, I mean, I'm trying the best I can. And he's like, yeah, I only play TTS and it's always perfect in TTS. I said, I know, but this is not TTS. Yeah. This is human. My hands are shaking. I'm tired. It's going to be a problem. He was totally fine with it. It was just interesting to see him coming to the reconciliation that, real life is not the same as TTS.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting because there were like some people that were like, oh, the extract can't go there because it can't sit on that building. And there were some other people that brought blue tack to stick the extracts where they need to be. Just like, it's interesting. And it's all different metas, right? There was someone there with like very, very extremely illegal rulers, which I assume are just fine in their own home meta, right? So people coming from all these different, cultures and metas, and then when they clash, sometimes it's swimming is beautiful, and sometimes like we have very different ways of figuring out how to rule this stuff. It's a bit ambiguous, so it's interesting.
Yeah. So I was playing APOC and I won priority and got the secures that I wanted. And so I've played this game. I played it against Pat. I played it against him twice, actually. And there's game into it. You have to be very, very good at Kingpin and trying to understand how to rotate. You basically have to rotate and try to constantly stay away from Apocalypse. And I was doing that. And it was going great, but the dice just kept saying no. There were a few instances where I did have to roll dice, and it just wasn't happening. Rhino put 4 attacks into Toad and literally did no damage the entire time.
Damn.
Yeah, it was brutal. I mean, this is the game that the guy said, I need to buy you a beer. Nice. I was like, thank you very much. And it was a really tasty beer, so I was very happy. Because I was on the edge of us keeping it together the entire time. Just a couple of those things had to convert when I had to roll dice, and they just didn't happen. And that's dice. Sometimes that happens, you know what I mean? So in hindsight, of course, I can't feel bad about it. But there was one part. So here's when the actual part I feel like the only time I really properly got salty, I've been like making a lot of jokes, but properly was I had a big brain thing. I had a character on 1 hit point, another character, and those were the last 2 activations. And he had Apocalypse and 2 of his horsemen around those guys on secures. And I thought through this entire thing. I still had a load of tactics cards. They were going to protect me against everything. So I
know where this is going.
Yes, I activated Black Cat, and I did exactly what I needed to do, and I lulled him into what I was a trap. Basically, everything was going to be fine. I was like, hell yeah! I totally big brained this. I am thrilled.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man's sitting on 1 point, and he just does the goddamn pestilence thing.
Yeah.
It does the the famine. Was it? Which is the one? It does the auto point. It does the pestilence thing just to do the auto point of damage, which I could do nothing against, and dazed me. And that was the entire plan undone. And I was pissed. I was so angry. I was so mad. I was like, because I had worked it all out, but I forgot that part, and it sucked.
That's a real shame. Yeah. Apocalypse be Apocalypse.
Yeah. So anyway, still fun, and the team guys were great. They're super fun guys. We did win this one 3-2, and that led us to the overall weekend of 2-3, which we were very chuffed about.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the end of the last round. We need to talk about the winners.
Yes. Oh my God. So big congrats to the English team, 51% affiliated.
Yes, it's coming home.
They won the event. They had not an easy ride to it. It was very, very hard. Spoilers, I am trying to arrange a interview with the captain of that team, Connor Rooney. So we will bring you all their thoughts from their point of view from the event. But I could tell you it was hard. They played very good team members. They didn't have an easy ride at all. They were shaking. Hands were shaking a lot. There was tons of adrenaline because the games were so matched up. And there was a lot of things going on. It was quite a wild, chaotic ending. But after going 3rd place year 1, 2nd place last year, they finally won it in year 3, which was amazing.
There we go. We did it. Yeah, it felt really good because it was also the first time that England had kind of actually organised to make a team for this.
Yeah.
I was begging for it last year because, we sort of just made our teams based on like who was friends, right? And it was like, you'd get like the odd team would have like 3 amazing players and then like 2 of their friends that were kind of mid-table, like you and I. But I really wanted to just have an England A team, just get the 5 best English players all in one place. And I say English players, Steve won't like me saying that, but the 5 best, England affiliated characters.
He lives in England.
Yeah, okay, nice, fine. But and we did it. We actually organised them together, and Connor did loads of good work, kind of captaining them, and you'll hear all about it on your interview with him. But I know that he was nervous going in.
He was super nervous. He's a savant at the pairing process, but it stresses him out.
Yeah. And also he felt like they didn't have the best team makeup in the room as well, which is interesting. But yeah, maybe we can find out about that on the thing. And, Pat Dunford, Mr. Apocalypse himself, who's like, 120 wins and like 3 losses. He lost 2 games at WTC. So that shows you how, rough their ride to the final was. So yeah, well done.
Exactly was. Yeah, well done to those guys. And it was no easy ride. So thank you.
For sure. We should clear up what happened, because if we don't, Norbert, then people are going to read Discord, and I want to get the scoop on what happened in that last game.
Yeah,
so I was there for the whole thing. I was hovering the whole time. So basically,
so was I, for that matter. So
nice.
All right,
cool, good. Yeah, so you can correct me when I get everything wrong. So the 4 games are over, and the score is currently 2-2, and we have Joe Manji versus.
You're talking about the final round.
The final round. Yeah. Final round, Joe Manji versus Toast.
From the United States. Sorry. So we should have said it was the United States versus 51% affiliated from England.
The pork roll protocol guys.
Yeah. And those guys, it was so exciting. They had the same side of fairy tale kind of ride through this event. They were really hard fought, totally deserved to be in the finals, and the super nicest guys coming from a long distance away. This was thrilling. It was so thrilling.
Really cool.
But
I really liked as well, because there was a trend, which we'll get onto with the stats, but there was a trend at WTC. Every team, a lot of teams had Inhumans, Apocalypse, Crims, Avengers, and then someone else. And it was all kind of very similar makeup. But the Pork Roll Protocol guys, they had slightly different, affiliations. One of them brought Asgard. It was like a slightly punchy team. And I really like that, because, there's kind of the stereotype that the American meta is more punchy and the European meta is more crisis. So I was like, this is cool. This is like a real cool kind of final. Anyway, so we're all watching. There's like 50 people stood around this table. Joe's playing Toast. And they shake hands, and
first of all, the game was intense. The adrenaline, both of their hands were shaking nonstop from the adrenaline.
Yeah.
They were playing clean. They were very polite to one another. No nastiness, but it was intense. And they were playing hard because they were constantly right on top of each other in terms of the scoring. It was nuts.
Yeah, exactly. I think, I looked at one point, it was 18-18. And I think it eventually ended up going to like 21-21 or something ridiculous.
Yeah,
so, it was really close.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So they shake hands. It's all over. No one knows
because Trost wins by 1 point based on the ties. Like they're on 21 to 20 or something like crazy like that. Yeah. Carry on.
So Trost turns around and starts celebrating with the Americans, and that's it. It's over. Joe, kind of is accepting it. He was actually quite friendly about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
having just lost in a really high pressure game.
He was definitely crestfallen, but not unsportsmanlike at all.
No. It's great. Mm-hmm. It was good to see. But and then there was a couple minutes of everyone kind of settling in. Joe went to the toilet and then was kind of playing over what happened in his head. Came back to the table, and between the two of them, they both realized that one of the characters they had counted as healthy when they were actually injured. The score was actually tied.
At 20.
And they both players agreed, and this has been confirmed on Discord now. They've both posted saying, what happened. They both agreed that they should play on. That would be the right thing to do.
Yeah, so because they both walked away from the table hadn't been touched. And in fact, I didn't realize it at the time, but I actually actively saw them pause the clock to do the scoring. Yeah. So the clock wasn't running either during the celebratory time or whatever. It literally wasn't. Yeah. So it was like nothing had happened, although it's weird that everybody's celebrating, obviously, and moving away. So that's obviously not a normal situation, but go on.
For sure. So they agreed to play on, basically. So Gil came over, pushed everyone away from the table, and they played on, and Gil kind of stood there watching the whole game, just to see it out. And then there was another draw, and there was another round, and it was lots of back and forth, nothing fully decided. And then Trost had 2 seconds left on the clock and just called it there. He couldn't take any more turns. So.
Yeah. And we should point out to people that, the WTC clocks are very generous. They're an hour long instead of 45 minutes long.
Yeah.
So, there was loads of time. So it is sad that Toast lost on the clock, but I mean, it was in the rules and it's quite generous, and so it's a resource like everything else. And so he ended up, and Joe had not a lot, but he still had enough to play properly still. So it was it was over basically.
Yeah. So there is. So then, so we got the in England win for WTC, and the two teams went out for drinks that night as well. And we got a nice photo of them both hanging out. And it was all good spirits and good sportsmanship and all that stuff. So an awkward, unfortunate end, but handled by two gentlemen, I think. And
sportsmanship couldn't have been higher. I mean, if anything, the sportsmanship was the winning aspect of this WTC. Sure. Second place, congratulations to Italy, Maestro. Last year's winners went into second place, and the Pork Roll Protocol, do the strength and schedule, dropped down to third place, which they were super happy about as well. Still a huge accomplishment, and definitely sportsman of the weekend.
Yeah, sure.
Should we do stats real quick to wrap it up? Just some of the notable ones?
Yes,
maybe?
I wanted to quickly jump on judges real quick, just because...
Oh, sorry, I missed that part.
I had a few people talking to me about judges, because for a lot of people, this was their first event that had judges. So we had two amazing judges that had volunteered their time to be there. And also Gil was stepping in to be a judge every now and then, but he was also playing on Team UN, so he couldn't judge that much. But just to kind of go over what they're for. So what I learned from this weekend, Norbert, was judges are there to help make a decision. Well, no, sorry. They're there to make a decision, not necessarily to be right. They're obviously very knowledgeable of the rules. And they know their stuff, and they will work stuff out with you. I had 3 judge calls, and they came over, and sometimes they would need to go through the timing chart with us, so we all kind of work out together. But their primary role there is to make a decision. And the reason I say that is because of my 3 judge calls that when they came over, 2 of them were wrong, but you go with it because that's what it is. You and your opponent are asking for a judge to come in so that the game moves smoothly, and goes on. And I was happy to, just accept that and move on. It's fine. There's no point, getting angry about it. And also there was a few people that had judges come over to check measurements. And that helps too, because if two players can't agree on, if something's in range or not, that's really helpful. There was a funny story about a judge coming over and measuring, and they nudged one of the models out of range.
Well,
they were not in range.
I've been there.
Again, it's not the judge's job to come over and give you the perfect, exactly correct ruling. It's them to come over and make a decision so the game can move on. So I just wanted to kind of shout that out because, some people, it's their first event with judges, and it might be their only event with judges actually, because I don't think I've been to another event that had judges. So
yeah. So shout out to Mads from Denmark and Guy from Israel who came over because they come over to not play. They are there to just work essentially for the 2 days, and they do so for the love of the game. So thank you to those two guys for doing that and doing a job that sometimes is actually very hard, mentally very hard because of sometimes the unhappiness of their decisions.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for bringing that up. That's very good. Right. A couple of stats. Let's go through the ones where it had a load of games. Let's start right at the big one. 108 games played by Apocalypse. Win rate, 63%.
It's very high. That's very high. I know I'm struggling to defend my point that they don't need to be nerfed. That's clearly a very strong score. My one kind of caveat there is, again, I think it's a win. It's a rich get richer affiliation. If you're a good player and like most good players for WTC, you're practicing for WTC months and months and months in advance. So you will be rewarded with Apocalypse wins when you go there because you are good and you are playing a good affiliation. But also, 63%, that's quite high. So fair enough. Yeah.
Right. The next Boogeyman, of course, was Inhumans. They had 117 games, so loads of games. They had 57%. So also a little bit too high. Honestly.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, the main thing with Inhumans is, it wasn't like the win rate I heard about. It was all the sad stories about Terragenesis.
Yes, exactly. Right.
Like it's just such a feels bad, and if you lose to Apocalypse, people can be like, oh, it's annoying because it's conditions and he hits really hard, and it's like kind of standard MCP stuff. But when they complain about an Inhumans loss, it's Terragenesis, which isn't standard MCP. It's a card that dazes you and makes you drop an extract, and they get 2 VPs. It's like a 4 plus VP swing. It's just ridiculous and can be used on multiple people. It's horrific. So yeah, really sad to hear those stories. But yeah.
Yep. Next big bad was Criminal Syndicate. They had 106 games and went 53%.
Nice.
53%. Let me look at the leaders on that one because that's interesting. Shadowland Daredevil, 43 games, 58% win rate. Kingpin, 49 games, about the same. Only a 49% win rate, actually. Yeah. Wow. So Daredevil doing a bit better.
Yeah. MODOK going 1-6. Come on, man. Can we have a quick look? I know it's not many games, 28 games for X-Men, because all the X-Men have become Apocalypse people. We're in the age of Apocalypse right now. But I just want to see the leader breakdown. So Cyclops is at 68%. Oh, well, 3-2. Never mind. Storm, 7-5. Professor, completely 50%. Okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
Pretty uninteresting.
Nothing you can say about that. Yeah. Next big one was Avengers with 93 games. They had a 48% win rate. So very good.
Yeah.
Midnight Suns, 71 games, 46% win rate. So getting a little scary, but still in the band that's considered good, 45 to 55% win rates.
Yep.
Wakanda, 67 games, had 42%.
Oh, that's a big dip. Yeah. Considering, I mean, you and I think they're one of the best teams at the moment, and it's not being proven very right there.
No, not good. Asgard, Guardians of the Galaxy had a modicum of games. Asgard had 32, but 31% win rate. Guardians, 49 games, 31%. That's bad.
That's bad. I mean, they miss E Street, right? They missed all the E maps. That is bad for them, yeah.
That is really bad. So the rest of all the affiliations had only a smattering games, so it's not worth really talking about their percentage wins rates. So, yeah. So, Jamie, should we wrap up with the big news about next year?
Yeah, because people asked me when it was. I gave them my insider information, and I was wrong. So let's correct that now.
Yes. So the event will be held for the first time outside of Copenhagen, which I think everybody was super excited about. It will be held at the Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. So It's another airport hotel, which is beautiful for convenience because it'll be right when you land. You can go right into the hotel. And it is at Schiphol Airport, which is Amsterdam's main airport, which is a monstrously popular international hub, which makes flights super convenient and probably less expensive than many other places. And it will be held November. Oh, gosh. So it's November. It's a whole month later.
I know when it is. November 15.
Yes, 15, 16.
I've got it here. 15, 16?
Yes, 15, 16.
No, wrong. November 2026 is 14, 15.
15, oh, yes. Thank you. I was looking at 25. Sorry, guys. Yeah, say again. So say it to be clear. November
14, 15.
14, 15 of 2026. So a great time of year for a lot of people. And we hope that the new location entices loads of people to come back for next year. And that's it. That's our WTC wrap up. Any final thoughts?
It was fun. Team events are cool.
Was fun. Yeah. I had a great trip home with you. It was so fun being on. We took all the same flights. Everything went really smoothly. And we had that nice train ride where we chatted away. My wife always wonders, how could you possibly have anything left to say after being together for 2.5 days? And somehow we do.
Yeah. It's always just complaining about Inhumans. It's easy.
All right, everybody. Thank you to our Patreons who helped make this all happen. We couldn't record all these special episodes without your emotional support. And don't forget the fact that our producer is sticking around to do this late at night to get it out to you as soon as possible. So if you can support us on Patreon, that will show her that you really care.
There you go. That's how it works.
That's how it works. Anything else?
No.
No. No.
Be nice to each other. Look after yourself and each other.
Okay, then. Until next time, cheers and happy gaming.